Hey, it's Woodshopcowboy here. I'm Saturday morning, and I'm playing with the Funkey Super by Stephen Lewis. This is a really cool board. You guys can see it right there, and you'll notice it kind of might look familiar to you. It's got a ground. It's got a USB. You can see it's got these cool letters on the side, right? Well, what it is it's essentially a blown up makey makey, right? But there are some issues with the makey makey if you use it a lot that kind of bug me, right? As I'm using it, the alligator clips are too small. Kids really don't get the whole putting wires into those headers, and they tend to break them. They're really fragile, and they're always tethered, right? You always have to have a computer next to them. Well, this guy kind of takes some of those problems and tries to fix them, and we'll see how they work. So what I wanted you to see first is I've got a sensor here. Okay, sorry, I've got a heartbeat monitor program. What I'm going to try to do is I'm trying to hook this up, and I'm going to see if I can monitor my own heartbeat using some of the tools that you get right with the Funkey Super. So, and I really shouldn't say that you get right. So, Steven, the guy that there we go. Ooh, look at that. We're up and running. The guy that has developed these boards was very nice. Let me take two of them home and asked me to review them and kind of let you know how these work in the classroom. So he provided the boards for me, but you know all these comments are my own because you just can't fake this sort of level of sincerity. Um, yeah, so we've got, notice I hooked this up and I've got this and you could probably see it there. Let's see if I can get it in a spot. There it goes, keystroke mode. And what that means is it's going to act kind of just like a makey makey. Any sort of input that it gets over here is going to be uh, it's going to act just like it would if it was a makey makey. And what I've done is I've gotten my program here to this heartbeat program. Oh, it looks like I've messed something up in here. There's a space key press. So if I hit my ground and I start pressing it, there we go. I'm up and running. And what I've done is I've set up this program so I can calculate my own heartbeat. So let me pop this full screen and you guys can kind of take a look here. Right, I can't see this. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. Get that down a little bit. You guys can see it. And when I hit the space bar, when it wants to work, there we go. You can see that it kind of makes this cool animation. So I'm gonna take that animation there. There we go. You can see it really good there. I'm gonna try to do some tricks to it. So I could just touch the space bar. Just like a makey makey here, you can see me do it, right? I've got one foot on the ground, one finger on the ground, one finger on the space, and that's interesting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it. So I got this cool thing, right? And I've never tried this before, so this is starting off on camera. We're gonna totally, just see what happens. So it's got a 3-pin connector. It goes down to this. I don't know what that does. Down here we have this cool sensor. It's like a little photocell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it into the space sensor on my Funkey Super here. There we go. And I'm just going to plug this guy in. And what happens is it should, oh, I can see it now. Yeah. Hook it up like a little earring. And, oh man, that's actually working. So let's take a look here. So you see my earring? Now let's kind of move this. There we go. You can see the blinking lights there. That is my heartbeat. And there is my heartbeat monitor going off. That's pretty cool. So in about 5 minutes right now, I have built a medical device. Just kind of sitting and playing. So that's one of the cool things that I think you can do with this tool that you can't do with, say, the makey makey, right? It kind of expands this world. You can also do it something called there's a mode in here called I/O mode, which is input output mode. So to change a mode, all I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug it, okay, and I'm going to hook up the super secret, and I might get this wrong. I mean, super secret modes here. All right, there we go, and then I just plug it back in, and I did that wrong. Certainly switched it to a different mode. It's in programming mode right now. I want it in I/O. So I/O is, let's see, in the middle there probably. Now there's instructions for all these guys on the web, but you know, hey, instructions are like cheating. That's what I say. Let's play with this here. There we go. Okay, so now I switched up my modes. I'm in I/O mode, input-output mode. Now this is interesting. Now what happens is that any type of input that comes in on one side, on the right side here, will output on the other side. So what I can do is instead of hooking up like for keystroke mode and making the computer be part of this, I can put these away. And this time I'm gonna have an LED, okay, and it's going to be connected here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend like this LED, see, it's on, so there's flashing. This LED now is going to be my burglar alarm, okay. And so I need to hook up something that stops it. So here, let's see here. I'm gonna hook up this sensor, and this is an IR sensor. So here's my LED, here's my infrared sensor, and when I break the beam, turns off, on, turns off, on. So I could pretend like I have a door, and when it opens, it turns it, there we go. So I have the door, oh no! Or the opposite, you know, the door is closed, it's on, now the window's opened, and that thing turns right on. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that's what the Funkey Super does. The Funkey Simple has a lot less features, but it's essentially a makey that's much smaller, a lot cheaper, so you can come in and you can play with it. Now there's one last cool thing that I want to show you before we really go, because the programming mode is if you are if your curriculum as a teacher, or your project, whatever it is, needs you to do some pretty fancy programming, and by fancy I just mean more than I normally do, because I don't do that fancy stuff very often. If that's the case, the programming mode's really amazing, because you can get some access to the I want to say it's an Arduino Leonardo chip that's in there. It'll let you start programming with, I want to say it's a make block. We could probably try it here in a second, so I'm actually accurate. But it'll allow you to do a lot cooler stuff with inputs and outputs. But there's one last thing that I really like about this, and this is like worth the entire thing. So in input-output mode, right? You can input, you can do a series of inputs or whatever you want. And your outputs aren't, they don't have to just be this LED. They could be motors, they could be servos, all sorts of things that are, oh, I think I just broke that. All sorts of things that are out there in the world. And the best part of input-output mode is that you can get a battery pack, or the best part of this Funkey Super and the input-output mode part of it is you can get a battery pack, and you can plug the battery into the machine. There we go. Get that going the right way. Switch it on, and now my machine's up and running, and it's untethered. So no more computer. I can actually build a device, a real device, and hook that up for a display and not have to run a computer off of it. So that's, it really expands what a teacher or a designer or a kid is capable of and can design out there in the real world. So I wanted to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Stephen for letting me take a couple of these home from this summer during the Autism Makes workshop. And just to say again, all those opinions are my own. I really think this is a pretty darn cool device. When my Genius Hour, I do Genius Hour every Friday over there at the school, and my kids inevitably, somebody asks for this every single time. It's checked out all the time. People love playing with it. They love the different sensors. And I think there's a lot of capabilities here that can really expand your world. The best part about it really is that, the modes and the equipment kind of builds on each other. So there's a lot of play, interplay here. You can make your own equipment. You can make your own sensors. You can buy sensors from other vendors. And then the different modes kind of build on each other. You can start off in keystroke mode. You can untether it and go into I/O mode. And then when they're in upper middle school, high school, or whenever you have a project that calls for it, you go into programming mode and you go play. So you can use this in a whole lot of different ways in the classroom. And I think it's really going to be a great classroom tool for me. And I'm really excited to go out there and play with it and learn more. So thanks for watching my review. Come on, visit me down at woodshopcowboy.com if you're in the Northern Virginia area. You can always find me teaching over there at Nova Labs. Yeah, keep in touch. That's the way it works. Find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter. All three of those. Just do it. Find me. Catch you later.